Good morning, and good morning. How are you doing this morning? Well, let me say, I hope yesterday was a good day for you. For those of you who are off work, or those of you who are just celebrating, just chilling, just living your life in slower motion, finding a way to say that you're comfortable, you're happy, and you're safe. That's today's discussion. Safe. What does it mean to feel safe? And every once in a while, I'll talk to a friend or to even be myself where I'll be startled. I just wake up. Good morning, Joan. I just wake up and I'm startled, and I don't feel like I'm safe. I might have heard something, something creaking in the house, or the dog is barking, or something's going on. And so then, I always wonder, you know how safe can we feel sometimes, and if it's a false sense of feeling safe. And this morning, when I woke up really really early, I was watching ABC News Now, Good Morning Now, whatever it is. And they had on a family that was terrorized just by somebody coming into their home, and that the child decided, I think they said he was only 7 years old, that he was going to, good morning, Juanita, that he was going to retaliate and get these people that had broken into the home where his mother and he were living. I don't know if there were anyone else in this house, but it didn't sound like there were any males, other than the young boy. And it just got me thinking. I said, wow, that is scary. The fact that people are, they could come in, and not necessarily always do you harm, but they come into, maybe steal something from you. They may be on drugs and they're looking for something, or it just puts you in a position of vulnerability. And so I said, you know what, I need to talk about feeling safe. And then we can have, the discussion, and I'm hoping you all will put in the thread when you have felt that there was a time when you did not feel safe. It just happens. It just sometimes we may be out late at night, and somebody's walking behind us, or somebody cuts us off, something that just lets you know that our life is in the balance. And sometimes we are doing our best attempt at staying safe, where others are doing their best attempt to make you have fear, make you run, make you hide, something. And I don't know if I've ever told you all, but at one time I had this date. I'm gonna tell you this. This has been years and years ago. Had this date, and they took me to see the movie, The Last House on the Left. Well, I'm not one, and it was right around this time period, Halloween and everything. So you know how Hollywood is. They think everything should be, presented big, bold, and 3D. And you talking about scared, okay? It was the scariest, it was the most frighteningest movie I'd ever seen. And it started as soon as the credits were finished announcing that the movie was, you know, produced by, edited by, music by. After that, it was on by every means possible. Good morning, Maurice. It was so scary, and I remember seeing it and being just frightened, and they were just killing people, and, they killed them any way they wanted to. It could have been they were doing, it could have been where they were using, knives and guns and machetes and just all kinds of stuff, which to me it's just frightening just on a regular basis. So for me to see it where, there might be one incident and then you find out there's multiple incidences in one movie, or one scene, because they would, and it all happened in this house, because whatever it was, it had to do with the spirit of the house. Good morning, Jackie. Good morning, Larry. It all had to do with this house, and sometimes we don't even know what what our spirit is until we see something that makes us say that this is not for me. This is not for me. So, like Wet Bread, okay, a scary movie is not for me. I'm not interested in it. And, and no, I didn't see that guy again. But it just shows you that sometimes you can be frightened, why where people, that's all they're looking for, is just to frighten you. They're not looking to do any harm. But sometimes if you've had harm already done, you can have what they call a chilling effect. So then after that, you're just frightened forever. Every little opportunity that presents itself, that may start out where the house is creaky and the doors are, somebody's moving the door handles or something crazy. But anyway, every once in a while I have this dream. And I was talking to a friend the other day. She had her dream, and she was basically, acknowledging that sometimes we just get startled. We get startled from whatever it is. And we might be running. I remember I was running in one and didn't know where I was running to, or what I was running from, but I know I was running. So, to have fear put in you is pretty scary. And, I was listening this morning on the TV, and they were talking about where a man decided to, hit his woman, his lady, his girlfriend, in the head. And I think they said it was with I thought they said a machete. Now, maybe not. Maybe it was just a hammer. But either way, a hammer, a machete, whatever, all of that is crazy. Yeah, absolutely PTSD. Yes, you relive it. You relive it again. But anyway, this person, they went into the hospital. Well, it seems that the man ran away, but he lives in the area not far from my house. Now, the dog is certainly going to make some noise, but every once in a while I'll get a little spooky. I just get a little like, oh, hope he ain't coming here. And to me, that would be that chilling effect, that PTSD, where you don't get over it easily, because it's become your pressure point for fear, your pressure point for not feeling safe. Not feeling safe. And sometimes, I don't care who we are, we're going to have a moment in this life where we will not feel safe, where somebody's coming, and or something has happened that has made us have, some fear things going on, and not feeling as if we can take care of ourselves. So anyway, let me ask you this question. Are you stuck? Okay. Occasionally we are going to be stuck. And occasionally we're going to be stuck with not feeling safe. Okay? And this can run into other areas too, because I think there's also the possibility of not feeling safe if you might be a woman, or if you're because it goes the other way too. Some men get taken on by women, and the woman becomes the dominant force. So there could also be that. There could also be the racial thing. There could be the profiling. Whatever could make us feel that we have that period, that strike point of where we just have fear built into us because we don't feel safe. So anyway, that's what we're talking about today, is safe. So when I start out, I found a poem. I always find something that kind of leads into where we're going. And this one talks about safe, and it's written by Christina Rossetti. And it says, safe, where I cannot die yet. Safe, where I hope to lie to. Safe from the fume and the fret. You and you whom I've never forget. Safe from the frost and the snow. Safe from the storm and the sun. Safe where the seeds wait to grow one by one, and to come back and blow. I thought this poem was wonderful because there's a lot of times I can go back and remember there were periods of time growing up where I didn't feel safe. And I remember living in New York and have 28 inches of snow on the ground, and I'm going to get my sister. I'm just, my big sister, I'm going to pick her up from work. And the roads were, the notice on the TV said, do not go out if you didn't have to. Well, my sister couldn't get home. The public transportation had stopped. And it says, the scenario we are now living under makes me feel unsafe. Amen, amen. And that was another probably nudge that got me thinking, how safe are we as a country, and the people in the country, how safe are we? Sometimes we just have to wonder, with the bickering and the back and forth and the accusatory stuff, and then there's just so much. There is so much. But anyway, I had to go get my sister. And so I set out. I went all the way downtown in the snow on the interstate. Got caught on the interstate. And I had already picked her up by this time. And coming back on the interstate. And we're just talking. She said, well, baby, you show my sister all good. Baby, sis, you think we're going to get there? Oh, yeah, we're going to get there. Nellie decided that she wasn't going another step, okay, not another half an inch, and just cut off in the middle of the interstate. In fact, I think we were on the thruway, and it just so happened, and I had my caution lights on. It just so happened a doctor stopped and picked us up, and he said to me, why did you drive out here like this? This is wrong. He said, I'm coming. Only reason I'm out is because I'm coming from a hospital, emergency. But he said, I'm on my way back to my house. Why are you out? I said, well, I had to go get my sister and so forth and so on. He rode us to my sister's house. He drove us to our sister's house through all the snow, kind of lecturing a little bit. He said, you have to understand that you have to keep yourself safe. And sometimes we don't always do it. We think that we have the covering, we have the, the idea, we have the fortitude, and, and we forge ahead. We forge ahead. And sometimes we're stopped. We're stopped in our tracks. And then something sets in where we say, well, I kept looking at her. I said, well, we can't stay out here with the cars turned off. And I think that day it was like 17 below. So I was crazy. But I was young. Young folks, we think our tomorrows will be here because, and then the doctor was saying, oh, you could get frostbites. Like 10 hours, 12 hours in this stuff, and nobody's out here and nobody comes, and what you gonna do? So, of course he convicted me in my spirit. I was convicted, and my attitude was convicted. And then in my feelings, I was convicted. I said, yeah, you're right about it. I should have told her to just, hunker down at the place until they cleaned up later on that night. And then I could have gotten out. But child, please. So anyway, when we speak of safe, we have to talk about, the fact that there may be points where we feel like our lives are in danger, but we don't die. Or that the snow is too high, but we still go on out there anyway in it. Or the rain comes, or the hurricanes come, or the threats come from the other countries, or the people, like the individual that decided to do what he did to his girlfriend. So we don't ever know when we're safe enough. We never know it. So we have to put our trust. I put my trust in God that he's going to get me through it. So, as soon as something happens, I'd be talking to him. Okay, God, this kind of okay. Need you right now. Need you right now to step on in. Calm my fears, because I have fear right now. I feel that something, it's out of my control. How do I? But I wanna feel that I know you're near, and that you hear me. And I've had many a time where he's just answered. You're gonna be all right. You're gonna be. I have you. And a lot of times we don't think we've been had, but we have. But listen, Christina Rossetti wrote this poem in 1839. Does it not sound like today? It does. It does. It has it has just, as they say, transitioned. Good morning, Stephanie. It has transitioned into something that can be used now, understanding that we have to look out for ourselves. And sometimes being a part of something that may be overpowering doesn't necessarily mean that you believe in the rhetoric, in the attitude, in the position, you know. Because I still think that if you're going to hold on to feeling safe, you also have to stand on what you believe and not what others are believing for you. So anyway, that is the poem. So let's get down to what safe is. What safe is. Let me put on my glasses to look like I got about 5 more minutes of sense. So give me 1 second. I just looked at them and they looked kind of okay. I can see. Good morning. Good morning. All right, safe. It says protected from or not exposed to danger or risk, not likely to be harmed or lost, secure from any threat or danger or any harm or any loss. You going to be all right, or secure. All those things speak to what, to what feeling safe does. Jones says the uncertainty of today can add paranoia where it has not been. Absolutely. You know, I just never remember it being in my lifetime, with all the things that we've gone through to see the pandemic. It's brought its own peculiarity, and then the things, you know, that people are at odds about, those things, and the civil unrest, just everything, just very interesting period of time, and I'm quite sure there would be a lot of books written about it. But to feel safe is to feel that there's a sense of dependability on yourself and maybe on someone else, and there's a good to it, there's a reliability to it, there's responsibility to it. So, you know, like they even said, like even when your children were little and you had an exit plan, you make sure the children are taken care of first, and then, you know, and the house is gone. We out the house. We're gone. Okay, and so those kinds of things. And it talks about it being a trust, the fact that there's a trustableness to it, and a truth. So all those things speak to our feeling safe. But every once in a while, in spite of us having, you know, people having security things, like right now, I think the number Prime Day today at Amazon, and they said one of the number one things on sale is the doorbell that hooks up to your phone, so you can put it out in the front of your house, and it actually shows up as a picture, so you can know who's ringing your doorbell. Well, during the pandemic, I'm not answering my doorbell unless I call them. Oh, okay. I'm just not doing it. But anyway, that's what they're saying, is that those are the things that are on sale today. But anyway, when we speak to safe, the S is for secure or security. To be secure is that you're fixed or fastened so as to not to be given away. You're a part of something. You can't be let go of easily. You know, they're not letting you loose, or you're not lost. All those things help feed your feeling of safety, your feeling of feeling safe. And it talks about you might be feeling tight, wound, where somebody has wound themselves around you, or you might be living in a fortress where nothing can get in. Okay, and then you can barely get out. I always remember, you know, when I would go to certain people's houses, they didn't do that in New York. In New York, you couldn't put bars on the windows. It was considered, I think, at one time unlawful. I don't know if it still is now, but down here I've seen them, and every time I go to an elderly person's house and I see the bars on the window, it just gets me, you know, I have fear for them. I have fear because I'm saying, what if they go to sleep and a pot? Good morning, Lamont, my nephew in New York, sweetie. And a pot is on the stove and they've fallen asleep. That's scary. What if they can't get out? Their animals can't get out. And it's just terrible. So bars on the windows, it just seems so weird. It seems weird to me. But I know that I've seen them down here where the bars are on the window. And that's obviously for people to not get in. But what if you need to get out? What if you need to get out? And I've seen them where they're even on the front door. So the front door, if the front door is locked and all of the windows, that's a real problem. A real problem. So anyway, that you're held tight, you're firm, says it's taut, fixed, secured, it's done up, closed, shut, locked, and sealed. And I like that locked and sealed, but I don't like it where there's bars. Okay, to me, locked and sealed sounds like in the terms of regular safety. Okay, even when they send somebody to jail, they're locking them up, locked and sealed away from you, from us. Okay, from society, from the community. So we understand that one. But if it's in your home or it's in your job, you want to be able to get out if you need to get out. And what if it's not even fire? What if it's a gunman? Somebody in to do harm. So every once in a while you have to think that other people might be thinking bad thoughts, because sometimes you may have what I call like a inside, an instinct that says that something's not right. Go with it. Go with it. Don't wait to the end. The A of safe is for attached. Attached. And to me, when you feel safe, that means you're attached to something. To people, to the dog, to the doorbell that has the video to it, to a camera, because some homes have cameras all through them, and so somebody comes to the front door, the back door, the side of the house, the other side of the house. It's all on video, so therefore it can be traced. It's traceable. But anyway, to really look at how somebody can get in and get out, wow, that's really a mess. Good morning, Ruth. So anyway, when we talk about attached, we talk about it being joined, fastened, or connected to something. And as I said, we can be connected to, for those who are fortunate to have husbands, wonderful. Okay, wives, and even children, because children, sometimes they can be in a closet and dial 911. You teach them. Okay, the dog can bark. Cat just gonna walk around, okay, curious, but he can't do anything, okay. He may, if they feed him, he may do a purr or two, but that's it. But anyway, to look at something that's attached, it says it's basically married to, devoted, hooked, bound, shackled, affected, yoked, or accompanied. So all those things speak to what attached does. In relationships, it's there. It's there. You can depend on somebody allowing you to go to sleep, so you feel comfortable. You feel safe enough to sleep. And you can get your rest. I would never, when my daughter was little and after my husband passed away, I was never the mother that slept so hard that I didn't know. If I heard something in the house, I was on it. What's up in here. And I live in a older home, so it has its own creaks and stuff. So one time some friends came and stayed with me, and they said, Sandy, it just seemed like the toilet kept flushing all night long. And I laughed about it. I got a little humor. I said, oh, that's just Landrum. That was my husband. I said, oh, he's just in here letting you know that he's watching over stuff. They were like, you are crazy. I said, I know. It says a crock of thinking, yes, while we are sleeping, be careful. That's right. Every once in a while, something will creep in, we can hear something and we're startled. But we need to tamp it down. If it's nothing, we need to go on back to sleep and get our rest. But anyway, you just need to be concerned about yourself and others that may be staying with you. Right now, with the pandemic going on, I don't think anybody is like really entertaining much more than maybe their families in their home, unless they started the pandemic together. And some people did. They decided that if they got to be locked down, they're going to be locked down together. So therefore, they are protecting each other. The next word for, which is the F of safe, is for fasten. Fastened, or fastened to something. It said it's closed. It's closed. It's joined securely. There's a bolt on it. There's a lock on it. It's secure. It's a chain. It's a seal. That's what we do when we lock our doors every day. We come into in and out of our houses. What do? I remember as a child in New York, as crazy as New York was, my parents never locked the door. And they would tell people, oh yeah, just go on in there and, I made your plate. You can just go on in there and pick it up. Child, you I wouldn't do that now. No way. But that's how they lived. There was a more trusting factor that went on for their time on the earth, and so there wasn't the kind of fear. Now I'm quite sure that there was periods where they had witnessed something and fear stepped in. But on a general note, my dad was dad all the time, and he was husband all the time. And my dad was right there, making sure that the kids were safe, and my mother was safe, and he was safe. He just took care of everybody. So that's what we do when we lock our doors. We're putting ourselves away for a minute so we can be comfortable. We can get our rest on, Speaking of rest, I don't know, if anybody wants to just go to the Usher during pandemic. And I know I've sent out that link a few times, but I have a new one that was on this past Sunday. And oh my God, I had to call on the name of Jesus to stop laughing. It is just that funny. And Maurice Myers, who shares in our session here, is funny as heck. I would love to see it picked up for something because, oh my goodness, it's just so funny. And Sundays was one of my favorites. It was one of my favorites. So just Maurice, would you put your link in there so they can find it? It's just that good. It is just that good. The E of safe is for effective. Effective. It says successful in producing a desired or intended result. Our result is that we want to feel safe. So therefore, we have to take some precautions, So for me, I'm not running around in the middle of the night. All of a sudden, I got a taste for ice cream and I'm going out at, 2 o'clock in the morning looking for ice cream. It will not happen. And if y'all hear a story that something happened to me and I was out getting ice cream, don't believe it, because I'm not going. I'm not going. Even when I lived in New York and we would go out to dances and stuff and the clubs. And I remember that in New York, the clubs didn't close till 4. So we would always go get something to eat. So by the time I actually arrived at my house by myself, it was light again. So even then, I guess I had a little, trying to keep myself safe, even way back when. And my girlfriends, we all just would meet at one person's house, and then we went out collectively. So sometimes that's what you have to do. If you have to go out collectively. Don't go out by yourself. Just don't go out by yourself. So anyway, it says when we look at something being effective, we want it to be successful. And so, and that's what I think every time I lock my door. I want it to be that I can unlock my door and go out and still feel safe. And it says it's effectual, it's productive, it's constructive, it's fruitful, it's functional, it's powerful, it's worthwhile, it's helpful, it's credible, it's forcible, and it's sound. And I think all of us that lock our doors at night, and some of us have elaborate, uh, security systems. I got panicked for a while because my motion detector, my sensor outside, wasn't working, and and only half of the house on one side it was, and the other half wasn't. So I had to get an electrician, and he fixed it. And he made it where come up to this house, child. It's like you're on Broadway. You got lights everywhere. They just some stay on, and they go off in the morning, and the sensor one, it just lets me know that somebody's out there. It lets me know. And of course, and then there's the dog. Don't be outside, even on the other side of the street. The dog is on it. He first goes, and after that it's on. Then it's big barks. That there might be danger outside. But anyway, that's what we want to talk about. That's what we talked about today. Is just feeling safe any way possible. If you're at a house and it's an apartment, there's personal security things that you can do. You can get the extra locks on the doors, and the door only opens, like 2 inches. So it's just enough, and they're real strong. So the ones they have out are very, very strong. So they don't let anybody have access to you, or the things that they're coming in there to get. Because a lot of times people don't necessarily want you. They want the things that you have and money. And so that's what they're trying to do. Good morning, Miss Rosie. So that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get at the things that they may do something else with. So anyway, we want to talk about how secure your feeling safe is. How secure are you in your environment, even getting in and out of your car? I know one thing they were telling people about is that they have some people that will actually lay down. They watch you getting out of your car late at night, and they lay down in between cars so you can't see them as you're approaching your car, and then they come up. That's scary stuff. And you know what? That's why I don't play with all of that. I get the most light wherever I'm at. Even in the daytime, I got a lot of light on. Not necessarily overhead, but I love the light coming in my house through the kitchen, through the family room, through the living room. I like the light. So once the light goes, it's like, okay, now let me figure out something else. Okay. But anyway, so you really want to look about the security, who you can attach yourself to. Maybe it is 911, so that would be your cell phone and all of that. Or maybe it's a person in your house, or maybe you have an animal that can make sounds. So something. And then, of course, the whole fastening of doors, closing of doors, locking doors, locking windows down, all those things that make access to you very difficult, And then, of course, how effective is it? Do you feel safe? It should be a yes. It should be a yes. Now, I talked about the things that really talked about the physicalness of you. When you speak of how safe you feel in regards to, our country, who's in charge, all that kind of stuff, that could be very, very frightening too, especially when you hear, that some of the other countries are loving what's going on, that there's discourse in our nation, and that there's unrest, and there's protests and riots and this and that, and it just seems like it just makes the exterior of us seem fragile and penetrational, so that is what to me talks about how safe are we. So I'm not just talking about the safe physically for ourselves, but also how safe are we in just where we live in the country that we're a part of. But anyway, those are the things that I wanted to touch on today. And here's some questions, and you can put them in the thread if you want to. The first question is, do you feel safe? Do you feel safe? Yes or no? And if you do feel safe, or you don't feel safe, write why. Write down why. Some people say, look, I'm armed. In fact, I was riding with my daughter the other day. We were coming back from the market. It was maybe about 8 o'clock, so it was getting a little dark for me. And she and I were talking about the fact that the neighborhood, not everybody puts their lights on. I said, they're probably packing, okay? They probably know every little nook and cranny in their house, and they know where to go get whatever they need to keep themselves safe. So there you go. Okay, so what would you do when you do not feel safe, or when you feel safe? What are your course? What's your course of action that you take? I like this question. It says, "Who can you attach yourself to when you're not feeling safe? Who can you? Who can it be? Who could it be? Is it the dog? Is it your 45? If you do that, is it a person? Or is it just straight up 911? Who is it? And the last question is, how effective are the actions you take to feeling safe? How effective are they? So far, I can say mine is safe because I'm here. I'm a living testimony that he will. Okay, Joan says keep car doors locked while you're out. Absolutely, I do that all the time. Okay, I do that all the time. I absolutely do. And my car won't drive more than I think 100 feet before the doors automatically lock. So it doesn't give you an alternative to leave them open unless you decide to open them up during your travel. But for the most part, they're automatic. And so I like that feature. And my next car, if I get another car, it will have that feature. And sometimes if I'm in a area that I didn't realize would be kind of dark once I came out of a store or whatever, I immediately get in and hit the button to lock it up immediately. I don't give anybody any chances. Oh, I have mace in my purse. Okay. All right. You know what? I had some mace, and for some reason or another, I had to go into the IRS building on 9th Avenue here. And when I went in, I forgot it was on my keychain, but it's just a little one. Real small, little cute, little pink one. Child, he said, the officer said, step outside, ma'am. I said, okay. You can't come on government property with that. And I said, with what? It's just my keys. He said, it's mace. Can't come in here. So I had to go take it off my keychain and put it back in my car. But he said, you cannot come in. You will not be seen for no reason at all if you have mace on you. I said, okay. Because I guess they're thinking that you may come in there and get mad at their rep and, may try to do something crazy. But I went and put it up. But mace is good. That's a good first line. That's definitely a first line. I don't know. I took a few self defense classes. Okay, Juanita says, me too. I was at the consulate. Yes. Okay, you can't go in there either overseas. Oh, I was, I don't even know what I was telling you just now. I went to reading that and forgot. Hit me up if you remember what I was saying, but I might remember it in a minute. But I just love the fact that I take my time when I'm going to do something, as opposed to rushing through something and ending up feeling that I put myself in a vulnerable situation. So I'm constantly thinking ahead of what I'm going to do and what time it is. And if I'm going to be by myself, then I need to cut my time to come back home earlier. So as I've gotten older, and I know I'm not as fast as I used to be, because I used to be able to run. I could still walk pretty fast, but I used to be able to run as little as myself is. Them little legs be, I'd be like, I gotta go. But since I'm older, I don't do that. I don't take the chance for getting frightened and then, what is it? Fear or flight. And child, I don't want to get so scared that I don't flee. I need to run. I need to take flight. I need to take flight. Yes, self-defense classes, yes. Oh, yeah, that's what I was telling. I took a self-defense class. I knew I was going to get back to it. And thank you for that, T. I did take a self-defense class, and they recommended that you take your keys and you take a key like this, and you put the key between the two fingers on each side of the key. And as they're approaching you, you take it and you jab it in their eye. Jab it in. And they said, do not worry about the force. Do not worry about saving their eye. Okay? If they're coming at you, you need to defend yourself. And so you jab it in the eye. And then you also, they said women, if they have fingernails, you can also use your fingernails to do the same thing. So, sometimes you don't even realize that you have some weapons on you that may not be the more required, but this at least has started and give you a chance to run away. And that's what they said. This will give you a chance to change, the trajectory of it, meaning that they can no longer come after you because they're going to be nursing their eye, and hopefully that's going to also slow them down, And they said you can also take your two fingers and just jab them into their eyes, So these nails are good. They're good and strong too. So somebody could probably get a good eye treatment. Excuse me, I just thought that was funny. But anyway, I just thought it was funny. But anyway, we have to take care of ourselves. We as women and men. I don't think women are the only ones, because a lot of men have been surprised from somebody coming up from them from behind, So we just need to take care of ourselves. We need to start with us, and then we need to encourage others. I'm always telling my daughter, she said, Ma, I'm getting ready to come over to your house. I said, not here. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. Take your butt to sleep. Don't come over here. Well, I thought I'd wake up in the morning and we'd go have breakfast together. I said, in the morning you come over, we'll have breakfast together. But you don't need to be disturbing my sleep and then you not getting enough sleep where you're not paying attention to the road. Because I said, coming from where you're at in the city and where I'm at, we're talking a good 35 minutes, because you have to get back to the interstate in order to get to my house. So sometimes you just have to talk people through stuff, talk them through it. But anyway, that is my talk today on being safe. We have to look out for ourselves. Good morning, Kathleen. You'll be able to we're getting ready to let you come in, but then we're on our way out. But it will come back through in a few minutes, and you can see what we said. And our discussion today was about being safe. And I want you to do that along with all the other ones that came in and had to pop back out. But listen, we have to take care of ourselves and each other. And I'm hoping that you won't be stuck, that you'll figure out a way to be safe in your home, in your car, in the store, wherever you go. Oh, and by the way, please continue to wear your mask and take your hand sanitizers with you. Okay? Have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Have a good day.